we were having a fun conversation, and she was like, hey, we're doing a thing this week about, if you buy this book, we're going to actually donate it to a homeless shelter or a schools where a kid in need might need it. So I picked a book that I thought, oh, and I said, you know what? I want to buy this book for me. So I bought one for them to donate, and then I bought one, and it was actually kind of a children's book, actually, but it told a woman's story of as a kid. It was based on her true story in a children's tome about escaping, like during the time of the Vietnam War, and how they escaped and their journey. And I was like, wow. So, and then as I'm walking around, I thought, okay, maybe I'll pick an adult book, one for more adults. And I was looking around and I saw a book and I go, okay, didn't see the advertisements. It just spoke to me. And so, okay, I'm getting this one. Those are like sometimes just going in, find a place that makes you happy. I go into a bookstore and I'm like, oh, cool. Or I go out in nature, whatever, go to a movie, painting, without saying too much about our show. Andrew, being that you've taken on the production design of Hazley and you're also in it as well, turning this little tiny, this house looks like a dollhouse that we're shooting all the live action. I'm thinking, I don't see how a family's going to fit in there. I could make it work, but it's so tiny, but it's like, it's perfect, and then it's like these little things. And then you said you go over there and you while you're fixing the house, it's kind of like a painting oasis. You said you go there to paint. So a lot of the paintings on the walls of our Hazley's house in the show are paintings by Andrew. I think with all the things in the world, I'm thinking, oh, to de-stress, you paint. Which, by the way, I have 2 of the paintings that were featured in one film and one in another pilot that we just did that Andrew was in, hanging up in my office in the studio. And people are like, oh, cool, I like your paintings. I like your posters on the wall. Make things. If it's decorating, it's designing. Those are just, there's so many things. And encouraging the arts. If you're more into science and analytical and you're not really into the whole painting thing, you never know, that could even turn into something. If you like science, if you like to get in and have, as long as the discussion is healthy, go create, find a way. There's different ways you can create things. And that's just all part of like self-care. Like you said, a girl, she started painting. Next thing you know, people want to buy it and she's got a gallery show. There's just the power of different, as humans. It goes back to, Gunter did a series of the show on resilience. Be resilient. That's also part of being mindful. Another thing I kind of wanted to touch on is sometimes people say, well, I can't be positive all the time. Is it okay not to be? I said, I was talking to someone the other day that was going through something, and I said, yeah, it's okay. You don't have to be, oh, you're positive. That's not realistic. And I'm like, yeah, I'm a happy-go-lucky person, but we all have our down days. But if you start reflecting, talk to a good friend if you need to work something out. That's also a way of self-care. So one thing is, sometimes when, I think in one of our last live shows with Gunter, we had a guest from the audience came on and said, what do you do? Is it okay? Is it like too much? Is there such thing as too much inspiring change? Is there too much being positive? Well, no, not really. You can be positive and be realistic. And so, DeVonna, let's go, like, we're going to go back around the room again. Talk about a little bit on, if someone says, well, you can't be positive all the time. What do I do, with this going on and this bothers me, and, oh, I can't even watch the news anymore, and how can I be positive all the time? And that's not healthy to inspire change all the time. So let's talk a little bit on that, and give maybe a little your insight on, is it such thing as too much inspiring change or too much positivity?
No, because what positivity is, it's a way to quiet the monkey mind. As humans, we have a million conversations going on in our brain with ourselves about our opinions and our how we feel and how just about a million different aspects of a million different things. So we could have a ton of traffic going on in our head, and well, a lot of people call that the monkey mind. And you have to quiet the monkey mind. And there's all kinds of ways to do that, but the best way is to focus on one thought. And if that thought is not the thoughts that you're hearing, because all of those are negative, then what I usually do, if I'm feeling bombarded by negativity of my own, I will focus on, well, what do I want? What am I thinking? So I acknowledge what I'm thinking. Oh, I'm thinking that I suck right now. Is that the truth? No, that's my opinion. Okay, so then I'll talk it out in my head. Well, what is my positive affirmation? What can take me from thinking negatively about myself, which is just an opinion and not the truth? If I ask any friend, they'll tell me that that's not true. So what do I do? Because we're the most detrimental to ourselves. We tear ourselves up. And we think little of ourselves when everyone else is thinking highly of ourselves. So we give ourselves the least credit, et cetera, et cetera. So we have to learn not to be megalomaniacs or anything, but to be happy where we are. And if we're not happy where we are, taking a small step to make it different. We touched on meditation. Meditation is another way to quiet the monkey mind. And people don't understand that, if they haven't ever experienced it. But like you said, Miranda, just go into a quiet room. You don't have to, chant or listen to a biofeedback tape. Those things help, but you don't have to if you're uncomfortable with that. I started meditation by simply laying down flat on my back on a bed and breathing deeply and counting to 10 with each breath if I could get to 10, and exhaling deeply and doing the same thing and trying to make my exhale count longer than my inhale count. It's that easy. And if you do that and focus on your breathing, you can quiet the monkey mind. And in 5 minutes, you'll get up feeling refreshed. And you can inspire change in others because they're going to see this calmness about you. This, you just have to walk your talk and live your example and be who you want to be. And what makes you happy? What truly makes you happy? Go for that and make your small steps toward that direction. And then you will always inspire change in others because it's just unavoidable.
Yeah, exactly. And when you said, and I put up in the little chat that we have available to all us guests in here, that brings me to, you talk about quiet the monkey mind. And when I directed my feature that's going to be out later this year, Lifelines, it deals with mental health. It deals with a character who's bipolar, because I've known people who've dealt with that. Me personally, not really understanding totally what they go through. I can only see from the outside. But I wanted to bring awareness to that. So we have a scene where the main character is talking to his psychologist, an actual psychologist that seems to be working for him. And you talk about little things too about listen, when you say about focusing on your breathing, you also listen. That can also mean just listen to your breath. I actually had a person told me when, meditating, just quiet room, lay down and listen to yourself. That's it. Or as I'm about to say, you say quiet the monkey mind, quiet the noise. Because there's so much going on in our lives, whether it's what's in the world. Lord knows I've got a lot of plates spinning. So, yeah, this DeVonna goes, does she ever? But sometimes you just need to take 2 minutes, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or water or whatever, and go sit by yourself, take a breath, even if it's a minute. Sometimes that 1 minute will go a long way. It's the little things. Quiet the noise. And I have the psychologist in the movie, and when people watch it, they'll see that, and she's like, and we have the scene where the actor, the character, he's kind of fidgeting, and he's sitting there on the couch in the psychologist's office in that scene of the film, and he's kind of trying to adjust himself. He's bipolar. He's trying to focus the different sides of him, and she goes, she goes, Ethan, I want you to quiet the noise. And then we kind of go into kind of a trippy flashback kind of thing where we fade out to where you just hear her voice, and then it's just I just went radio silent in the scene where it's kind of an abstract photo where it's like he's feeling the quiet. And yeah, you may have a relapse. Are they going to get better or are they going to get worse? Everybody's going to have ups, days, and downs. But if you quiet the monkey brain, you quiet the noise, take a moment. That's so key in the self-care deal. And it's just like I said, it just shows you, as we're talking, one person will say something and I'm like, oh my God, you nailed it on the head. You brought up quiet the monkey brain. I say quiet the noise. It's the same thing. Get out of your head for a moment. And even something literally, our listeners can't see our video chat, but, I noticed DeVonna, I said, you've got a sparkly cup you're drinking out of. And I'm going, something like as simple as sparkles can happen. Since the pandemic, I went on my first, I got a chance to have my first spa day, and I'm like, sparkle nails, sparkle toes, I'm even wearing sparkly shoes,
Sparkles make me happy.
Yeah, and DeVonna's got a sparkly cup. I also have my giant, friend show size. Oh yeah, with a D on it, with your D, you're owning it. Little things, those are important. And so, yeah, exactly. So those are just the little things that you can do to make things better. That it's just, there's little things that just make you happy. You could be painting a wall. Lord knows, we're about to go into Kristin's moment on the same topic here. But I go, I said, every time you turn around, I see a post, I'm thinking, they rearranged the house again. You bought a new couch you like. You're like, what's making, you said something spoke to you about buying a tea cart. Something that's going to make, the little things like that are simple. If it feels like it's gonna, it's not acquired. Some people say, well, that's just acquiring stuff, and well, no, it's not. If it's called treating yourself. There's different ways to enhance that. So, like I said,
adds to the quality of your life.
Yeah, exactly. If you want to go, my husband will tell me. He goes, well, you know what? If you see a shirt or you want, I've known people who, when they've gotten married, they're like, it's one thing to watch your money and watch what you spend, and I don't go bonkers on things, but they'll be like, you've earned it, you deserve it, go buy that. And I'm like, I'm blessed to have that kind of people you surround yourself. I've known people in abusive situations where you can't go out, you can't go here, and I'm like, and that makes it challenging. Even if you are in one of those situations and you don't know how to get out of it, that there's ways you can even quiet that noise, and maybe eventually you'll get out of that situation. We'll kind of touch towards the tail end on dealing with adversity thrown in. But just to further continue on the kind of the quiet the noise and the different ways on that topic. Okay, Kristin, I brought you up already a little bit, but I'm going to let you kind of tackle on your 2 cents.
Okay. I do not have monkey mind. I don't. I have a drunken monkey on cocaine that lives in my head. It is insane in there. Don't walk a mile in my shoes. Spend a day in my head, you'll never be the same. What's really helped me was meditation. And I couldn't ever do it. I just couldn't sit there quietly and listen to myself breathe. That is equivalent to navel gazing. It's just pointless. Then I started watching Deepak Chopra on YouTube. And he uses a mantra with it, which was extremely helpful for me. Just a simple Hindi word or Sanskrit word, and it really, for me, it does tone down the monkey. There's something I think that's really